Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oceana. So I wanted to share some of my recent reads and just things that I'm currently reading, and also I wanted to say happy spring break to my fellow teachers because we are on spring break now, so I am very blessed by that and I'm really looking forward to soaking up the time. What I am currently reading is, first of all, The Killing Tide, which I probably am done with it by the time you see this video, but I am reading The Killing Tide by Dani Pettrey. And so, I have in the past said that Dani Pettrey is one of my favorite authors because the first book I read by her was Submerged, and that is a 6-book, right? Or five or six book series that is called the Alaskan Courage series, and I've hyped it a lot and I love it. I've given, I guess it's 5 books. I think I've given 3 of the 5 books 5 stars and the other 2 4 stars. Like, I love the series and I liked her writing in it and all the things, and I loved her characters and the romance and everything. It kind of like opened up my world to Christian romantic suspense, and so I wanted to read other things. But it's funny because ever since then, I haven't actually had amazing experiences with Christian suspense. And even the rest of Dani Pettrey's books, they have not lived up to Submerged for me. I read the Chesapeake Valor series by Dani Pettrey in January and February, and they were all 4 stars. I liked them, but not nearly the same way as the Alaskan Courage series. And then with this book, I am finding it similar to the Chesapeake Valor series, where it's more so about the thrill and the mystery. But with this one though, it switches perspectives very often, and there are a lot of characters, which like in general isn't my favorite thing, but then sometimes the way it's written feels so fast-paced that like it's too fast-paced. Like I can't keep up and the story isn't keeping up with how fast-paced it is. I don't know. And then the romance, again, it's in this book, one of the romances is a second chance romance, and I'm really finding that that's not my favorite thing to read about. I don't really love second chance romances. So that is a lot of things against this book, and I'm finding it not very enjoyable. It could change, but I've like looked at other reviews of people that I follow and stuff, and they are saying similar things. So I don't know about Dani Pettrey anymore. Like, I still stand by the Alaskan Courage series, but I'm not so sure about this book, you know? So that's too bad. And this has happened with other authors too, like Marie Lu, for example. I love the Legend trilogy, but when The Young Elites came out, that was her next trilogy, it was so dark, and it was like about power and kind of like spirits from the underworld, and it was like, whoa, way too dark for me, and I didn't like it, and I never read it. So I was like really let down by that. But then she came out with Warcross and I loved it. But then she came out with The Kingdom of Back and I DNF'd it. So like, she is an author where I'm like, okay, I can't say she's my favorite author, but there's books by her that I love. So there's definitely authors over the years that like I have said, oh, they're my favorite author just because I love one of their books, but it doesn't mean I love every one of their books, you know, which I guess is, you know, very common for us readers. But I do think like, oh, I've hyped this author a lot. Like, I've hyped Dani Pettrey a lot, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't really say I recommend every single one of her books. Like, there's nothing wrong with them, but just for my taste, they don't always hit the mark. So honestly, even with Becky Wade, which I would also say is one of my favorite authors, because she wrote My Stubborn Heart, and that is my favorite book of all time, I am like, yeah, she's my favorite author. But the Porter Family series isn't my favorite thing ever. Like, I really like the first one, but the rest of them got 3 or 4 stars from me. And then with the, what's it called? Harbor or something? Harbor. Oh, no. The Bradford Sisters, I just went and looked at it. The Bradford Sisters series, definitely good books, but I mean, yeah, they're good. So that's the exception too. I do like those. But again, it's nothing close to My Stubborn Heart, which is fine. Not every book has to top every other book, you know? But, and I think you guys know that like, just because I say I really like this author, it doesn't mean I like every single one of the books that they've written. Because with Charles Martin as well, again, one of my favorite authors, but I haven't loved every one of his books. Loved most of them, but not all. And I think that's okay. I think that's something I'm learning. Like, I can like this author, but it doesn't guarantee I'm gonna like everything that they write. It would be nice if there was an author that absolutely anything they write we will love. I kind of find that way with Francine Rivers. I think I've given every single book that I've read by her 5 stars. So she is one where I'm like, okay, haven't read a dud yet, but I think I've read her most popular one. So we'll see as we go along if I do like the rest of her books. But yeah, I've just like noticed that. And so I was wondering how you guys feel about that and what you think about loving an author apart from a book, because with Dani Pettrey I just assumed I would love all of her books ever, and now even though The Killing Tide, like I thought this was going to be a 5-star series for sure because it's her newest series, so I thought, oh, like she has experience and it's going to be great and it has great covers, so it must be a great book, but I'm not loving it and I'm disappointed for sure. So that is something that I'm like, oh, that's too bad. But it's a good reminder that like we can't necessarily put expectations on authors that shouldn't be there, you know? I don't know. I just felt like talking about that. So do I have any other examples? I'm trying to think. Oh, Kasie West, for sure. I would have said she's one of my favorite authors too, because I've given a couple of her books 5 stars, but I've given a lot 4 stars and a lot 3 stars too. It's just one of those things where like, yes, I could recommend an author, but it's really specific books by the author that I would recommend, not necessarily. But then that's my own personal taste too. Like some of you might be giving Dani Pettrey's other books 5 stars, which is great. But for me, like Submerged was my 5-star book that I loved. And yeah, so I don't know. That's that. Oh, another one is Terri Blackstock. I was just like looking at my books, like who else can I say? Terri Blackstock. Yes, so my first book by her was Catching Christmas, which is a Christmas story and it's a short story. So I was like, but I mean, it was so good. The rest of her books must be as good. And now I'm like, oh, like I like her writing, I like her characters, but I don't know if I've given any of her other books 5 stars. I may have given Truth Stained Lies 5 stars, but really it's 4 stars. Like, really entertaining and good, but I wouldn't say it's a 5-star book for me. And yeah, everything that I've read by Terri Blackstock has been less than 5. Although I read a short story by her in Chance of Loving You, which was 5 stars, amazing. So that's why I'm like, maybe she's good at short stories, you know? I don't know. But it's, yeah. So like, I feel like I've hyped authors on my channel that I'm like, well, I don't actually love all of their books, and I wouldn't necessarily say they're amazing at everything they do, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I think that's where this video is going. So kind of casual, but I was ready to make a video and I was trying to think of what to do, and this is what I thought of. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and if there's an author that like you feel like you want to say they're your favorite, but then there's books by them that you don't like as much. Like, I definitely want to be loyal to an author, and when I see that I'm not liking their book as much, I kind of don't want to advertise it because I feel bad. But like, that's okay. You're not going to love every book, and I think authors know that. And of course, every author wants every person to love their books, but that's not reality, so we need to just be okay with it. I don't know. Those are my thoughts, guys. So I would love to discuss in the comments what you think about this issue. I don't know if it's an issue, but a thing. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day, you guys. Bye.